So without any further ado, I would love to invite back up here for a Q&A the director of Boy Eating the Bird's Food, Ektoras Lygizos.
And it's our producer here, Yonge.
Thank you and welcome.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. I'm actually going to start with a question. You spoke a bit before the film about some of the reasons why you chose to make this particular film, but I'm interested if you could tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to tell this particular story about this particular character.
First of all, the inspiration of what started happening to Greece like 2 or 3 years ago, seeing all these images of people starting to eat from the garbage. And then I happened to read this book by Knut Hamsun. He's a Norwegian writer, and this novel called Hunger. It's a simple story of a young writer that is starving and wandering around streets of Oslo in the 19th century. And I thought that that was a very good start for a story. And then I met Yanis Papadopoulos, the star of the film, and he was the biggest inspiration because from our first discussions emerged many elements of the story, especially this subplot of the bird. So I decided to make such a simple story without many explanations on one young man life that's trying to survive against everything, but mostly against his strong decision not to ask for help and not to admit his weakness.
Wow, thank you. That's a great answer and quite a collaboration, it seems, between you and the actor. Do we have any questions out in the house? Hands up nice and high if you do. I have more questions, so we can just keep going. I was actually interested in, I noticed that the actor, a lot of the way that the character moves was very bird-like or animalistic, and that something about that. Was that something you worked on together? Did he bring that to the table? How did that come about?
When you're making a film with the minimum plot and the minimum extra characters, I thought from the very beginning that his movement should be something very special, that all the details should be his movement. So from the first day of the rehearsal, we're starting to inventing all these little movements, trying to find all these curious and weird ways that he would move around the space, and he would do all these simple things. Yes, it was not a clear intention that he would look like an animal, but I as a cameraman, because I did camera, I wanted like clear pretext for me to move around him, you know. So I would like all these simple movements, like weird movements that make me move around him. And then I understood that what's the real genre of this film is like following an animal around everything that he's trying to do to keep himself alive. Yeah.
Great. Yes, it felt a bit like a dance sometimes, and then other times like stalking the prey. It was, yeah, very cool. Thank you. Yes, right here.
I was wondering why you added the scene in the church with the declaration wanting to confess. That confused me.
The question is about the scene in the church, the addition of the scene in the church, and why it was placed there.
Well, for me, his big struggle, if we can talk about a struggle, is his effort, he's trying just to confess his weakness. So he's trying to find all these ways to admit to himself at first that he's weak, and okay, he's useless, he can find a job, he doesn't have money, and then he's trying to find ways to talk to other people. So what's more easy for him is just sing. That's the only gift he has, okay? It's not enough for him to find a job, but it's enough for him to just go to a church and sing this nice song because he knows he has a nice voice. For me, this scene is just a rehearsal he makes for the scene with the girl, because he knows that he didn't manage to tell it to his mother. He didn't manage to, I don't know, but now he knows that he has to tell someone that he's starving. So for me, it's just a rehearsal. But also, well, it's not symbolic, but I mean, okay, he's just a simple person. For me, he's just a young person, simple in mind that he believes in God. I don't believe in God, but he believes in God. He has to believe in God. So for him, from the beginning of the film, that's a place that he could go and just rest, take off his shoes, just sit down and just reflect. I don't know.
That's a lot of reasons. That's great.